Hello there. So, we recently got the banner for Nerissa here. Um, and she is, well, she's simply put, pretty damn good for Abyss. Uh, she, she has some interesting parts to her kit that we're going to unpack in a second. She could be run um, without it as a lord. So if you don't actually have the poison trio and you're not running them, you can probably still run her. I would not necessarily recommend replacing Percy with her unless you can get her A1. Um, the reason being that with her A1, she reduces 5% more AoE damage than Percy does. If she is A0, she reduces 5% less. Depending on how you're building and how close you are damage-wise, that could be the difference between you not breaking a shield, or breaking a shield, or simply just dying. Um, Going over just the kit real quick here because she does have a lot of stuff happening. The Siren song is pretty cracked because even when she is in her ultimate, she's actually healing people. And her ultimate basically toggles her to a damage dealing mode, um, which obviously, if you do use this, you will not be getting very much heals from her. Now, normally you're running probably an Aelin in the Abyss fight, so Aelin can probably take up most of the heavy lifting, but without this passive that procs those heals on your entire team, you would definitely die. So this is pretty phenomenal, actually. And finally, we have her building up Atrophy, so it just boosts her attack, and that's also what she needs to pop out her ultimate. The somewhat interesting part is that you can choose to switch her to damage mode, and this does more damage to enemies with shield. Now, it's not huge. You won't be dropping a damage unit in favor of Nerissa, but it is some supplemental damage that could potentially help you if you're almost there on one of the magical shields. Gear-wise, well, it really depends what you're going with. An ideal build would probably be Invigoration or Wings of Grace with... Nope. This combination of stats, depending on how much HP you need. Possibly you drop flat attack and you roll with HP percentage. That's really up to what you need on your roster and in your account. But if you can run this on a full Invig or Wings of Grace set, she could actually be pretty damn interesting, because not only will she deal a reasonable amount of damage, probably somewhere in the 3 to 4 million tops per magic phase, she would also be buffing one of your units, and you don't really need... Like, you don't need her to be in a full healing build to have her do her thing, right? Percy heals less than she will, and Percy is really just there for the AoE damage. She's kind of the same thing. She's really mostly there for the damage reduction on AoE damage, but her supplemental healing is pretty damn good. Artifact-wise, again, depends kind of what you're going for. A Golden Scarab would be good if you're trying to focus a little bit more of the damage, because that gives you extra attack. If you want the heal, you could use a Tia's Balm. I don't think you really need it. I would probably just go with the Euphoric Orb, unless you're trying to make her do a lot of damage. Well, do a reasonable amount of damage. Maximize her damage, I should say. Awakening-wise, her A1 is pretty damn huge. That's more AoE damage reduction than Percy has. Her A3 is pretty nice as well. It's actually incredibly good survival on Abyss. And her A5 is really just more healing, which... I mean, I don't really see the point of trying to push her for A5. All in all, I wouldn't necessarily consider going for her unless you're ready to go for A1, which then starts to really be interesting. Or, I guess, arguably, if you're missing just a teensy little bit of damage to break a magic shield, but that's such a niche scenario that I wouldn't go out of my way to summon for her. I do think it's interesting that we're getting another hero that is somewhat like Artemis. I like that we have somewhat more versatile champions that don't just do one role. Um, so I also do like her design, but other than that, really, she's not, in my opinion, a huge must-have. She's interesting. She has her gimmicks. I'm glad that she was added because she's not a totally boring champion. Like, this thing here. But all in all, yeah. I'm not gonna burn all my shards on her. Anywho, that was a much longer than I expected overview of Nerissa, so cheers. You have a nice one.